Alright guys, welcome to a video response for my good friend Dean, and I'm going to read this off his YouTube as Vinnie Cornioli 62. I made a complete and utter arse of it in my Friday waffle. Apologies Dean, but I'm rubbish with YouTube channel names. I can never remember them. So anyway, this is a video response to Dean. He's asked 5 various kind of gaming related questions. So I'm just going to, I've not actually looked at them, I've had a quick look, I've not given it any thought, so I'm just going to read them straight off the bat. So let's batter into number 1. Dean is asking, what percentage of retro versus modern gaming do you do annually? It would be hard to say annually. I mean, all I can really do here is think about what games I play most of the time. Now, for example, last week I played, all my gaming was, not last week, the week before, it was all on the PS4. I was playing Last of Us, so I probably spent, I don't know how many hours playing that, maybe 10 hours all in. But I don't really play that much PS4, Xbone, Wii U. I mean, my daughter's got a Wii U, I never ever use it. So I very, very rarely use these machines. My gaming is pretty much all old stuff. I mean, there was one day this week, I can't remember what day it was, I sat up here and I was playing the C64. Just spent all night playing or loading up games and playing them on the Commodore 64. I've been playing a lot of MAME, especially getting into this YouTuber's high score challenge thing, and the fact I've got that HLSL, I think I got it right there. I've kind of found MAME again and really enjoying using it. But like I said, I mean, I've only got I've got about 8 games for the PS4. When I do get a title that I want to play, it's one of these games. It'll be one of these games where it just kind of drives you back, you know, because you can save your game. You'll play it for a couple of hours, you'll save it at a checkpoint, and then you look forward to playing it the following day. So usually when I get into a kind of current game, that's all I tend to do. I'll just play that, I'll keep going back to it until I complete it. Or I get to a bit, I just can't get past it, and invariably I just give up. But like I said, I don't have many current games, and I mean, I've got a lot of games on the PC, and you know, like a lot of people, I buy all these games on Steam and never really play half of them. I just seem to like collecting games and having them there. But I would probably say about 80% classic systems, consoles, MAME, home computers, and 10%, you know, 10% for what do you call it, for modern stuff. It's just because like a lot of guys in my situation, you know, we're all that wee bit older, we've got responsibilities, we've got jobs, we've got families. I mean, for example, this is actually my 3rd attempt to make this video. I started it in the morning and got interrupted. I started it about an hour ago, got interrupted. So actually trying to get the time to sit down and you know, do anything, whether it's playing video games or whatever. So my kind of gaming time is quite limited. So I think to myself, do I sit down and play another couple of hours of this game, or do I fire up 1942, Donkey Kong, Uridium, whatever? And 9 times out of 10 I tend to err towards the sort of classic system. So I'm going to say 80% retro, 20% current stuff. So question number 1 out of the way. Question number 2, Dean asks, what is your favourite genre of game, past and present? Right, okay, to go look at classic games, the early days, you know, the early days, 8-bit on the Commodore 64, I've always liked kind of arcade type games. You know, shoot 'em ups and that sort of stuff, although there weren't that many good shoot 'em ups in the C64. On that, I used to really enjoy sports simulations. I loved all the Epix games, all the sort of joystick wagglers. I love joystick wagglers to bits, I really do. I used to enjoy football games, any kind of sporty type games, pool games on the 8-bits, really enjoyed that. Driving games as well, you know, stuff like, just trying to think, Pit Stop 2, you know, what's it called again? I can't even remember. There's one, it looks like Super Sprint in the wee Championship Rally or something, I think it is, and when you crash, the car explodes into a ball of flames and the wee guy runs out on fire and you see him rolling over. Yeah, so sports games, driving games, loved all them in the 8-bits. But the funny thing is I've gotten older, and obviously systems have become more, far more capable, if that's the right phrase to use. The genres of games that I enjoyed back in the 8-bit days. So yeah, I loved international soccer on the C64. The equivalent now is FIFA. Now, for whatever reason, I mean, I stopped playing football games really after I think it was some of the early Pro Evolution Soccer. Was it Pro Evolution Soccer 2 possibly on the PS2? That was quite good fun. I don't know. I mean, what did I buy? I bought FIFA 15 for about £3.50 about a month ago. I can't remember, was it on the Xbox or was it on the PS4? I don't remember. And I played it, and I don't know, maybe I've outgrown it. I don't know. I think I find them too complicated. I mean, I still go back and play. What do I play? I mean, I still love Sensible Soccer, you know. In my opinion, that is the greatest video game ever written. I still enjoy playing these. But there's just something sterile and dull about the modern football games. There's too many buttons, it's too realistic. I'm not a football fan at all, but I enjoy these old games, football games. But the modern ones, maybe they're just too much like real life for me, and it just doesn't seem to interest me. So sports games that I enjoyed then, nowadays, you know, I mean, when you think back to like 1984, 85, whatever it was, when you're playing international soccer, if somebody had told you, you know, how would you like to play a football game where the graphics are super realistic, with proper sound and commentary, you would have thought, wow, that'll be the greatest thing ever. But in reality, I just find it dull. I don't know what it is. I think maybe because my gaming roots are in the sort of classic systems, I just find the modern takes on these ones pretty boring, to be honest with you. And the same for driving games. I mean, what have I got? I've got Drive Club on the PS4. I have got, is it Forza Horizon, I think, is that what it's called, on the Xbox One. And I've loaded them up, I've played them for a wee while, and I don't know, I think the realism again just kills the fun for me. I find them too difficult, you know. I mean, some of my mates, that's their thing, they play and they, you know, they adjust the suspension and all this kind of stuff. I've got no interest in any of that stuff. I just want to get straight into a game and play it. And so when I do play these kind of games like Drive Club, I'm rubbish. I'm just rubbish. So whether my kind of old gaming skills are not up to the job for modern systems, I don't know. So yeah, my tastes have definitely changed. The old classic systems, arcade shoot-em-ups, sports games, especially joystick wagglers, which you just simply don't get now, unfortunately. Driving games. I mean, I liked a lot of stuff back then. Probably sports simulations, I would have said, was my favourite genre on the 8-bit. But now, I don't enjoy these games at all. I think they're just too realistic. So I'm not quite sure. What are my favourite games on modern systems? I don't play that many games now on modern systems, and probably, I'm just looking up there just now, probably, the games I've played recently, The Last of Us, The New Order, the Castle Wolfenstein game, Killzone, they're all these third person shooter type games, because that seems to be the most prevalent genre of game on these systems. Is there a type of game that I would love to see on them that would make me play? I don't know, I mean I would love to see more shoot 'em ups, I would love to see, you know, joystick wagglers. I mean I would absolutely kill to see, you know, some of these, some of the track and field games that came out on the PlayStation were just fantastic. What was it, Athlete Kings on the Sega Saturn? I would love to see a photorealistic track and field game. I mean they could absolutely make it look brilliant. In fact, it's going to be interesting to see, this will be the first Olympic Games, the first Olympic Games that this current generation has existed in, so it'll be interesting to see what kind of games there's bound to be some kind of real Olympic Games, so chances are it won't be joystick waggling, it'll probably be some kind of, you know, you've got to push buttons at a certain time and that kind of stuff, so that'll be interesting. But sports games in 8-bit, and probably I've got to say first person shooters, because that's about the only games I actually play on the current gen. So yeah. Question number 3. My phone's locked itself. Question number 3. What are your biggest concerns or fears for the gaming future? Concerns or fears? I wouldn't say I've got any fears. Well, I suppose, yeah, technically, is it a fear? No, I'm going to lump them all in the concerned aspect. Concerns are what's going to become of all this downloadable digital media stuff. All the games that I've bought on my Xbox 360, the games that I've bought on the PlayStation, all the digital downloads. What's going to happen to them in 10 years' time? Probably, in fact, less than that. I think as the technology, you know, as we're moving on in time, systems seem to last less and less and less. I mean, the C64, the Spectrum, they were out from early 80s right through to probably the mid 90s, so they were probably over 10 years. The PlayStation lasted a hell of a long time. I don't know exactly how long it was, but they were still making PlayStation games right up to, I don't know, probably towards the end of the 1990s. In fact, it was long, but probably into the year 2000. Same the PS2, PS3, these, you know, but it is going to get less. I mean, obviously they're bringing out this new PS4.5, so people are concerned, is the PS4 going to, can it be superseded, you know, in the not too distant future? And I think that's something that's going to, I mean, Nintendo are talking about pulling out from the Wii U. It's only been out, what, I don't know, 2.5, 3 years, something like that. So what's going to happen to the systems we've got now? I think in 10 years' time, it's highly unlikely that the servers that hold our games are still going to be there. So, I mean, that's a question that they've never really answered. Possibly because 99% of people who play video games, they're not interested in playing old games. You know, they've probably sold their Xbox 360, they've got a PS4. When the PS5 comes out, they'll get rid of the PS4 and get the PS5, so they're really not interested in playing old games. It's guys like ourselves that obviously are into video games. We want to be able to return to these games. I mean, I've got a massive back catalogue of games for the PS3 and more specifically the 360 that I want to be able to play. But I do have a lot of games. I mean, there's stuff like Xbox Live games, which I've downloaded shitloads of these, including 2 games which are apparently no longer available. Is it Afterburner, Climax I think it's called, and also there's a guy outside in the ladder I think, and also Outrun. They brought out a kind of Outrun, was it? I think what it was called. It was a kind of remake Outrun. Apparently you can't get these anymore. Now I've got them on my computer or on my Xbox 360 just above the camera there. Does that mean that when that Xbox 360 breaks I can no longer get access to these games? Don't know, who knows. But yeah, the way it's going with digital downloads, I am concerned that in 10 years time a lot of my games that I have legitimately paid money for I won't be able to play anymore. And the second part to this is, as we all know, the gaming has kind of shifted away from single player. I mean, back in the 80s it was all single player. Yep, you maybe had a 2-player option in a game, but there was no such thing as online. Now it's, I mean, with the Xbox 360 obviously online gaming became big, it became really popular, and it's great fun, it really is. But they still catered for the one player market. But there's now a growing trend with more recent games not supporting. They don't support single player. They may have a few missions, whatever, but they tend to be earning inside of the multiplayer. I mean, the best example is, what do you call it, Star Wars Battlefront on the, well, Xbox, whatever it is, PS4. It looks absolutely phenomenal. I played a demo of it and I thought, that's amazing, I'm going to buy it. And then I found out that it's largely online. Apparently there's very, very little content for single player offline games. So I didn't buy it. And I think that is going to be the way things are going. So as much as I keep saying to myself, you know, I mean, I always like to try and get the latest kind of consoles, but I think it may get to a point in time where I'll probably look at the latest Xbox, the latest PS, whatever it's going to be, and find out that it doesn't really support one player and it's going to be primarily online. I think at that point I may decide not to bother buying it. I know, Dean, you've mentioned that you don't own any of the latest consoles because of that, you know, and was it yourself, Dean? I'm sure it was, or was it somebody else? No, I'm sure it was you, Dean, that mentioned that you don't have a PS4, or well, you do have a PS4, because I saw you bought some games recently. Who was I talking to? There was somebody else that I was watching on YouTube, and they don't own the latest consoles. Well, I know Steve Benamy doesn't. There you are, perfect example. Steve doesn't own these because, you know, and I think I could possibly go down the same road. The way it's going, I'll probably decide, nah, I'm not going to play these games, so what's the point of picking up the console? So aye, that is question number 3. Number 4, where do you see your gaming collection in 5 years or more? Good question. Where do I see it? I keep saying this. I have kind of pretty much got what I want out of my gaming collection. I mean, I've got, you know, when I count ROMs, I must have tens of thousands of games. I've got enough games to see me off this off the earth easily. You know, I mean, I could probably play 10 new games every day until I kick the bucket. I've got all the systems that I really wanted. I own. I've got my MameCab, I've got my Vectrex, I've got, you know, I've got my 3DO, my Saturn, I've got all my machines. There's really no machine apart from the Sharp X68000, which I'm never ever going to own, unfortunately. There's nothing that I really want for my collection now. I mean, I do still buy, I mentioned in the waffle I'm getting this Android system thing, but as far as games, I've never been a collector. I've never, you know, hankered after a particular game. So there's no game-wise, there's nothing, actual games that I feel I need to buy. There's going to be stuff that's going to come out in the future that I'm going to buy. I mean, I used to be a member of this, this Retro for Sale Facebook page, and it's one of these things for somebody like myself who just can't resist buying stuff, you know, old systems. I mean, you see all these, you know, Ataris and what have you getting advertised, and I just couldn't help myself. I love owning old systems, but I've now ticked all the boxes. You know, like I said, there's very, very few machines that I really want to own. Where will I be with this in 5 years? I don't really see things changing that much. I mean, I've spoke about in the past, one day I may decide I've had enough of this, I want to get rid of it all, but I don't see that happening for any time soon. I'm one of these people, I kind of like to hoard things. If I buy something and then I decide I'm not using it, why don't I sell it? And then I look on eBay and it's going for 30 quid, I think to myself, well, what's the purpose of selling something for £30, because that £30 is going to get spent on diesel for the car or messages, whatever. So I tend to hang on to stuff. So I I don't see myself getting rid of anything within 5 years' time. I dare say I'll have picked up a few other odd machines. I mean, there's some systems that I've got now, if they were to fall over and stop working, would I replace them? Possibly not. I don't know. Nah, probably not. But nah, I think, I would like to think that in 5 years' time, I'll probably still be sitting here. I'll be 53 years old, oldest YouTuber ever, still making Friday waffles on YouTube and still enjoying this hobby, because I've been enjoying this hobby since I was 18, which was 30 years ago. Yeah, 30 years ago. I don't see that changing. I don't see myself getting to, 50 or 60 and deciding I don't like video games anymore. I don't think that's going to happen. So I really don't see things changing that much. Will I still be on YouTube? Who knows? Who knows what way YouTube's going to go? I mean, I was talking about that yesterday in the Friday Waffle. If they decided to start charging, would I pay to have a YouTube channel? I don't know. But to answer your question, Dean, where do I see my gaming collection going in 5 years? I don't see it changing that much. But who knows? If I had to downsize my house for whatever reason, I lost my job or something, then you can't ever really tell. But right now, I would like to think that probably nothing has really happened to it. I may have sold off a few bits and pieces, but yeah, that's that. So that is question, was that number 3 or number 4? I think that was number 4. Yeah, that was number 4. And very lastly, question number 5. What are you looking forward to most with game development in the future? Now, I'm probably not the best person to ask that question to, because as much as I like having the latest consoles, as I've just already mentioned, playing photorealistic driving games with rain, weather effects, whatever, playing FIFA with photorealistic graphics, as much as I like to think I would enjoy these games, I don't actually get that much pleasure out of them. So future gaming isn't something that's really, I'll always have an interest in it, but it's not something that makes me stupidly excited. But the one thing that I am looking forward to seeing where it goes is virtual reality. I know there's been a hell of a lot of talk about VR over the last probably year, obviously with Oculus Rift, the Samsung VR, the Hive, the PS4 VR headset which is coming out soon, which I have pre-ordered. The funny thing is, there's a lot of people who completely dismiss VR as being a fad, not interested, don't want to play it. But you probably find that these are the people who have never actually tried it. I don't think VR is ever going to become mainstream. I don't think you're ever going to play all your games in VR. I wouldn't like to do that. I look upon VR gaming in the same way as going to the cinema. I watch, I says probably 99% of my films and TV on a TV downstairs or up here in the games room. But for a special treat, I will go to the pictures and watch on a nice big screen. You take in, you've got the huge screen, you've got the fantastic loud stereo quadruple sound, whatever the hell it's called nowadays. You go for the whole experience, your popcorn, your juice, and it's dark. All you've got is the screen. You get completely absorbed in it. That's something that I wouldn't want to watch every film in the cinema. It's got to be a treat. And I kind of look upon VR gaming as like that as well. It's something a bit different. I wouldn't want to play all my games on a VR headset, but I like to dip into it for an experience, for half an hour and just enjoy the experience. I mean, the only VR I've tried so far, well, I've actually tried Oculus Rift for a very short time. The only VR I've really got is the Samsung, which I think is amazing. But the fact that the games are having to run on a phone, they're obviously not particularly deep games. It's more like experiences, whatever. It'll be interesting to see what the PS4 is capable of. I mean, I've seen a video showing you kind of a trailer of the games that are going to be coming out for it. It's hard to get enthusiastic looking at them on a monitor. That's the thing about VR. it is impossible to convey the experience to people unless you've actually got the headset on. It's all about the immersiveness being when you're actually in a game. But yeah, the games that I've seen in the PS4, graphically wise, they're pretty good. Did they blow me away? No, they didn't. They didn't blow me away at all. Possibly, excuse me, when I actually get to try it, I'll think differently. But I'm not quite sure that the PS4 is powerful enough to really give us the next step in VR. I mean, I've got a mate who he works for, is it Radeon? He actually writes drivers for Radeon graphics cards. Now he was saying that the current PCs that are required, the recommended PC to run Oculus Rift, he told me it was something like 10 times more powerful than a PS4. So if that's what it takes to run Oculus Rift, how can a machine like a PS4 possibly have the grunt and horsepower to kind of run a proper VR game? Excuse me, I think that's my slight concern about the PS 4.5. I mean, they're talking about, is it to work on 4K TVs? How many people have 4K TVs? Not many. I personally think it's because Sony don't think that the current PS4 is capable enough of running the VR. I might be wrong, I bloody hope I'm wrong. I mean, Sony have apparently said that all the games they'll run on both systems. I think you might find that people who shell out the 400 quid for the VR, they might find that the experience isn't quite what they're hoping for. It might be, you know, you might get a sort of slight frame rate issue, or you might find that, you know, the graphics, you've got to turn down the detail. It's almost going back to the original sort of PC days with graphics card. You've got to kind of turn back the graphic detail to run smooth. Whereas if you've got this more powerful Sony 4.5 machine, you can ramp things up. And I think you might find that people who are really into their PS4 VR, they might decide, no, I'm going to upgrade and get this new one. But I do think I don't think VR is the way forwards. It's something that runs side by side standard gaming. I mean, nothing will ever take over sitting on the couch with a gamepad in your hand and just, you know, playing your latest game. VR will never take over from that, in my opinion. I mean, VR is fantastic. It's an experience. It's something that you want to try for 20 minutes and then switch it off and then do something different. But having tried VR, it's incredible. It's hard to describe to anybody that's not tried it just how different it is from looking at a game on a monitor or a TV. You really feel like you're in the game, you know, and the fact it can offer stuff like, you know, I can watch a film on a huge big cinema screen, that's just phenomenal. So I'm looking forward to VR going further. I think we've kind of seen, I mean, when I had the C64, when I went from that to the Amiga or the Atari ST, the jump in graphic quality was just phenomenal. It was just incredible. When I went from the Amiga to the PC, then some of the PCs, you know, the Pentium 60 which I had, the graphics weren't that much better. But then when we moved up to better PCs with like 3D graphics cards, the graphics again improved that a bit more. You had polygons, it was running smooth, whatever. Then you had obviously the PlayStation, which again you had stuff like Ridge Racer, and again it kind of raised the bar, not quite as much as the jump from 8-bit to 16-bit, but it was still a jump and you could notice it. Then when we went from the PlayStation to the PS2, again it was a jump, and it was enough to sort of think, oh, that's better graphics, you know, sort of fancier effects and that kind of stuff. Then the jump from PS2 to PS3 was even less. Yeah, it was HD. I've still always vowed that you could still put out plenty of good games on the PS2 and Xbox, but yeah, the jump was even less, and then the jump from PS3 to PS4 is even less again. I mean, the best example is, I'm looking at it there, The Last of Us. I played it on the PS3 and it was mind-blowing. The graphics were just incredible. Now I've been working my way through it in the PS4 and I've got to say, unless I was to see them side by side, I don't see that much of a difference. I think where the difference is coming, it's all the little subtle things. It's like the way the rain hits the ground, or the shadows and you know, water, and when you're walking through water you get the effects of water. It's all the little sort of cake dressing, window dressing I should say, that has been improved. The actual graphics I think haven't really changed that much from like the PS3, Xbox 360, and I think we've almost reached a plateau with graphics. Yeah, you're going to get your PC snob saying, oh, I can run 2048 or whatever the hell it is, but graphics now are so realistic looking that the next generation I don't think is going to look that much different. What you probably will find is you'll get the same kind of graphic quality, but you know, if you're in a crowd scene, you'll get people, loads of more people walking about, and I mean, you'll have to look at, like, if you look at FIFA on the PS3 and you look at FIFA on the PS4, there's really not much of a difference. I probably couldn't tell the difference, to be honest with you, again, unless I saw them side by side. But where you do notice the difference is the crowds. The crowds are a lot more detailed. You've got individual people in the crowd, so it's all these little effects that have been improved. I don't think we're going to see much of a difference in actual game graphics. So I think we're just going to see slightly more refinements as time ticks on, but I would love to hope that VR is going to continually get better and better, because that is something, that's one element of the sort of modern gaming that's got me really excited. I mean, when I buy a console now, I'm a bit kind of blasé about the whole thing, which is terrible. I mean, I bought my Xbox One about maybe 6 months ago, and when I bought it, I didn't even open it for a couple of days. I couldn't be bothered making the effort to open it, which is pretty sad. So yeah, that is it. That is my answers to Dean's questions. I hope you enjoyed watching them, guys. I'm going to stick the link to Dean's original video and his questions down below, so please go check him out. He's got an excellent channel. And lastly, guys, thank you very much for watching.